So at what point do we just kind of say, this isn't gonna work, let's stop? Before we get into the video, I just wanted to remind you guys that my Binks plushie is out now for pre-order. If you want one, pre-order ASAP because as usual, they are limited edition and they will not last very long. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We've already made goal and there's still some time to pre-order if you haven't yet. Welcome back. So today we are going to have maybe a little bit of a controversial conversation, but I wanted to talk about 5 inverts that I personally probably wouldn't seek out and spend money on. And there's various reasons to that we'll go over. Am I saying I would never keep any of these animals again? No, I'm in fact pretty sure that I will end up having some back in my collection at some point, usually just as like gifts or something like that. But would I go seek them out and spend my money on them? No. That said, some of the animals we talk about, there are people that have a very niche interest in them and they already have weighed the pros and cons, and for them, the pros outweigh the cons. Again, just talking about my experience and my opinions. So now that I've talked a little bit about disclaimers, let's get right into it. We're gonna start with number 5 being trapdoor spiders.
Wow. Oh, this is a really nice looking one.
Oh my god, it's so cute. Oh, it's so mad. It's so mad. Wow. Those fangs are huge.
I love trapdoor spiders. They are so beautiful. They're so unique. They're very cool animals. I love when they actually make a trapdoor and jump up and take the prey and stuff like that. But a majority of the trapdoors that I've kept, I never see after unboxing them. Like I'll show them in an unboxing video, and even when I drop food in there, I never see them eat the food. In fact, most of them, I feel like they won't even come up to the surface to eat food. It's almost like I have to release superworms or something that's gonna burrow down to them to actually get them to eat the food. So it can be kind of tedious and you spend like 90% of the time not knowing if they're alive or okay. Personally, if I'm going to spend a lot of money on a spider, because a lot of trapdoors are kind of on the pricier side, I want to see the animal. I don't need to interact with the animal, but I still want to see them. And I especially would like to film them and show them, you know, for YouTube and stuff. So it doesn't make much sense for me to keep them because I don't see them and I don't want to disturb them and stress them out. They're just supposed to live underground and they're just supposed to not really be seen by us. Will I ever keep a trapdoor spider again? Probably. I'm sure one will make its way here eventually, but would I spend my money on one? No, probably not. Nope. Oh my! Number 4, camel spiders. Now, a lot of this I've already said before on my channel. I've talked about it actually at a decent length, I would say. Anytime I've unboxed camel spiders, I've said they don't really do the best in captivity. For some reason, there's just a secret to keeping them that we can't seem to figure out. I wouldn't say that's like across the board. I think there has been some breeding that's happened in captivity, but generally they just don't thrive. They just don't do well, and I think that probably a reason for that is because they need more than a little box. We try to keep them like we keep tarantulas and it just does not work. It does not translate, and eventually it seems like they stop eating if they were even eating in the first place. I think that they need to wander. I think they need temperature variance. I think they need to have a lot more space. Oh, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I had that goth camel spider for a pretty decent amount of time, and that thing constantly dug. It constantly was moving dirt from side to side. And I remember even coming across a video of them just like ripping up an ant colony and eating all these ants and stuff like that, which is something that I personally just cannot replicate in captivity. It just makes me think that generally they don't thrive in captivity, and I'm starting to kind of feel like it's a little cruel to force it upon them. We've kind of been keeping camel spiders for a while in the hobby and we still haven't really found how to do it well. So at what point do we just kind of say, this isn't gonna work, let's stop? Number 3, another invert that I probably wouldn't spend money on is Halloween moon crabs. So to be fair, I have not kept these guys in a really long time, okay? When I first got them, I bought them not quite on impulse, but I saw that they were being kept aquatically at a pet store here that doesn't have like the best reputation, and I went to go buy them. I thought there was 2. When I got there was actually 3, and I kept them in like a huge thing of dirt, and honestly, they were pretty cool. Like, I really enjoyed keeping them at first, but eventually things just kind of started to go wrong. And even though I kept them in a big bin like people had suggested, I still feel like that wasn't enough. Not to mention, they are always wild caught, and you know, that comes with its own set of issues as well. I'm really not sure if they ate each other or if one molted and died or just died and then the other ate it. I don't really know what happened. That's mainly because they spend a majority of their time burrowed, and the only time you really hear them is at night. Honestly, a great alternative to Halloween moon crabs, in my opinion, are vampire crabs. I've really enjoyed keeping the vampire crabs. Granted, I don't really see them very much also, but I definitely see them more often than the Halloween moon crabs. And also, mine are captive bred. They're being bred in captivity, which is always a good thing. And I just feel like there's more known about keeping them, and keeping them is easier, and they're smaller, so it's easier to give them like more space. Would I like to keep one again? I would maybe give them a chance again someday, but I would do things very differently than I did the first time if I did that. For number 2, I have some bad news. Centipedes. Okay, so unfortunately Slinky has passed away, and this is one of those situations where I didn't know if Slinky was alive or not because I never saw them. There was a period of time where I could see a little bit under a piece of cork bark, and I could see that they were alive and well in there. What ended up happening is Slinky tried to molt and didn't get completely out of the molt and died. This is just not an animal for me. I've kept a couple different centipedes over the years. I really did like the little purple ones that Tom Patterson sent me. I would probably keep that kind again, but as for like the big ones, I don't think so. They're super venomous, which kind of sketches me out. They're very fast and unpredictable generally, so it makes it more challenging to check on them safely for you. From my understanding, centipedes are, you know, some serious badass predators, and so putting them in a box, it's not the same as putting a tarantula in a box that's gonna make a burrow and be opportunistic and stay there. Like centipedes, they do need space, they do need to wander, and they are, again, big bad predators. I know they're a huge niche thing. There's people that like keep a ton of centipedes, know a ton about centipedes. That's their interest, that's their primary thing, and that's awesome. It's just not for me. I'm sure they know a ton of things about them that I don't. They probably have tricks and tips that I don't know because I've only kept a few, but millipedes are a great substitute. So if you want something that's cute with a bunch of legs, I absolutely love millipedes. I love my giant African millipedes that I got from Tom Patterson. They're actually a really fun animal to have, and they require like no maintenance at all for the most part, and they'd love to eat like rotting veggies from my fridge. So it works out for all of us. And lastly on this list, I know it's gonna be super devastating for several people close to me because they absolutely love these, but T. Celedonia.
I actually do know what it is. Hi. Oh my goodness, you guys. T. Celedonia, as you guys know, I have Pixie, and I also had another named Fern. And unfortunately, Fern mysteriously passed during a molt, and I was venting a little bit about how I was caring for them and how I was so adamant about like making sure I was doing everything right, and I still had one loss. And Tom said that he actually has a well-started T. Celedonia and offered it to me.
I just have not had great luck keeping T. Celedonia, and I know that the people who keep them and breed them insist that it's really easy, and I totally believe that for them, but it has not been my experience, so I would not feel right to say that they're like a really easy pet to keep. For their price tag, to me, it's just generally not worth it. Like if it's a species you really want, if you really want a T. Celedonia, then yes, invest in it and try it out. But I've had really bad experiences with them, and so have fellow friends.
The Typhohaena celedonia, the most expensive tarantula that I have, or should I say had, in Europe it currently costs around 500 euros, or that's around $600. As you see, it died, it's dead. I kept special care about this one. and it had to die. Well, that sucks.
And it's just so devastating when something that rare and precious and expensive does not thrive in your care despite you doing everything that you were told is right. It sucks. I would love to keep another T. Caledonia, but I do not love the crushing feeling of them randomly dying or not eating or having a bad molt despite doing everything and helicopter parenting them. If the price comes down, however, then yeah, I would probably try it again. For the time being, it's just something that I'm not interested in trying to keep because I've been a little burned. That said, a great substitute to the T. Caledonia is Y. diversipes. I have had an amazing experience so far with my Y. diversipes. They are just as beautiful as the T. Caledonias. They are less expensive, and I do feel like they're easier to find. They're not always available, but they come around in waves. Honestly, if you're wanting a T. Caledonia, but you don't want to pay the price tag and take the risk, try a Y. diversipes. So that's just my list. I thought I would just compile all of that into one video because I feel like I've said these things casually throughout videos over the years, but this just makes it easier to kind of reference when people ask me about, are you gonna get a centipede? Are you gonna get new trapdoor or another T. Caledonia or something like that? This just makes it easier to just kind of get a link and send it their way. So hopefully this video helped you, especially if you're like a newer keeper and you're kind of getting into this hobby. You at least know like my experience and my opinions, and you can do with that what you want. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not and you want to be. Don't forget I have an Instagram to use probably way too much. It's at Tarantula.kat. You can go follow me there. I also have a Patreon, podcast, Teespring, Discord, plushies, merch, everything, website. It's linked down below. I will see you guys soon. Let's get into the Patreon pet text.